Hi guys, and welcome back to another Let's Play LOTRO with me, Balthelion. So today, as you can see, I've got the face cam on. I'm not sure if we're necessarily going to be face camming every Let's Play video from here on out, but I figured I've got my kit set up at the minute, so why not? Might as well do it just while it's just me recording anyway. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. This is something that you guys asked for prior to Christmas. You expressed an interest in seeing both the High Elf and seeing Ered Luin. Which is one of the starter regions, but we didn't cover that starter region way back at the start of the game. We covered Breland, so we missed out the Shire and Ered Luin, which are the only two regions up to this level range that we haven't done. And I figured that since the High Elf is not too old, it's been out for about a bit over a year now, I think. But since we haven't played a High Elf character, because we didn't have one until that came out, and you guys have been asking for it, you guys have been asking for Ered Luin, I figured let's take a High Elf for Ered Luin. So we've got two options. And now I'm probably going to go for the Minstrel just because it's going to be a bit better at the lower level ranges. But I have a High Elf Minstrel and a High Elf Captain. As you can see, they've both got funky armours because originally the High Elves start out at the Battle of Dagorlad in the Second Age, which is an interesting way to start. So this is back when Sauron was defeated the first time, the last alliance of elves and men. Now, one if not both of these characters have accidentally been logged in, which may or may not explain why they've got the funky armours. So hopefully we haven't missed anything if we re-enter the game. But we'll kick it off. So hopefully we'll get the voiceover narration as we enter again, since it still technically puts us inside an instance. So let's see.
In the year 3434 of the Second Age, a great alliance of elves and men assembled in defiance of the Dark Lord's will to conquer all the lands of Middle-earth. The High Elves, the Blessed of Valinor, who suffered the greatest wraths of Sauron and Morgoth the enemy, now seek to ensure that his evil is forever banished from the world.
So there we go, an intro. We're going to have all the help pop-ups as we normally do. We do have Inspired Greatness, so we're going to have... oh no, it's not Inspired Greatness. It's a special buff, okay. It's just got the same icon. But we do have different buffs. Yeah, the Ill Omens event's up. Update. Okay, well, effectively we're super buffed anyway because we're effectively level 110, even though we're really level 1. So we get nerfed basically. There we go. So I've got my cool armor. We are in or near Mordor at the Battle of Dagorlad. Can I change my appearance? On that, we can see I've got the basic kit underneath, like a crappy club. But I look cooler with this on. Even if it's not necessarily a cosmetic I would like under normal circumstances, it's better than the starter appearance. So let's speak to our friend here.
My dearest friend, as Sauron surely knows, the mastery is ours in this battle.
Aureen, you seem as if lost in a trance, and I could not rouse you until this very moment. My dearest friend, do not allow the enemy to cloud your thoughts with visions of defeat. As Sauron surely knows, the mastery is ours in this battle. Alas, a cornered foe is the most deadly, and there are none more treacherous than the enemy in this realm. We must put our troubles behind us for the moment and press our advantage. So we need to attend the High King's address to the Alliance. High King Dagorlad has summoned us, Laurelin. So we're going to have all the Elvish MVPs up ahead. So the last High King of the Elves. We have called upon all the armies and peoples we could, but it still may not be enough. This is Isildur talking. King Riok, the Oathbreaker, and his traitorous kin have fled into the mountains, which is a plotline you can see as part of the Volume 3 epic. And Durin has sent only a few hundred of his folk. Hearken to me, elves and men! The time for debate is ended. Sauron sows only division amongst those who would oppose him, and see now what it has done. The kings of Lorien and the Woodland Realm press their forces into certain defeat, and why? They allowed their pride to blind them to the enemy's treachery. Sauron is swift to twist the pride and fear of his foes into weapons of his own. The men of Númenor that remain in this realm know his treachery all too well. Indeed, the fates of Númenor and Ered are tragic, but Sauron's wrath has grown only more terrible since those dark years. If we fall to defeat in this battle, there will never again be a force to oppose him. The Dark Lord gathers strength anew beyond the Black Gate. We must throw down the Morannon. Only then shall Sauron himself be forced to atone for the evils he has laid upon our peoples. We must put an end to his evil before... But notice the touches as well. Elendil the Tall is actually considerably taller than his other men friends. High King! Riders approach from beyond the Morannon. It is a meagre assemblage, only 9 in number. Might the enemy seek to parley at last? Well, what do we know comes in 9? Sauron does not wield his servants as ambassadors. Allow them to ride forth unhindered. But remain on guard. We shall meet them in the field. Yeah. I think we've got enough men to deal with 9. At last, the bearers of the 9 rings reveal themselves. The Shadow Kings, the Guetharain. They have returned out of the darkness. So, come on, I think a few of you should protect the kings. So we have to confront them. So we head up here. We can see it's a bit of a mess. It's hard to see which way we're going. There we go. The Black Gate's over there. You can't really see it through all the smoke. They approach. So who have we got here? We've got Isildur and Anarion, the sons of Elendil. Glorfindel, Elf Champion Supreme. Halfling, who's our friend. I don't think she has anyone from lore. I might be wrong. Obviously we've got Elrond himself, Kid and the Shipwright, and the High King of Galad. There we go. They've all assembled. The Gloom of Nirn, the High Sorcerer of Ered, the Grim Sauron, the Cursed Rider, the Witch King, the Bane of Ruin, the Roe of Can, the Black Blade of Lebanon, and the Forsaken Reaver.
Ah, the Elf King and the accursed faithful. My master has bidden me to deliver his terms.
Emphasis on the H, though. Terms? Have we assembled so great an alliance that your master now seeks to surrender?
Sauron the Great speaks not of his surrender, but of yours.
Speak then, servant of Sauron.
I am no mere servant. You speak to a king of men, and the lord of the Nazgul.
Nazgul? Do you no longer speak in your own tongue? You are no king. The ring you bear has seen to that.
Silence, elf wretch. These are his terms. Celebrimbor crafted the 3 rings in mockery of his design. You will surrender them, and swear oaths to never again come before the gates of Mordor. You would be wise indeed to accept his kindness.
And if we should accept, what promise can he give that he shall not again make war against us?
He offers none.
Peace cannot be made with Sauron. Such an offer is merely another of his lies. Go now. Flee to your master and tell him that his doom approaches.
So be it,
Jedi. Sauron the Great has stayed my hand for the moment, but his patience is nearly ended. It is you and this pitiful host who should flee.
For soon, no shelter, no matter how well hidden,
i.e. Rivendell,
shall be free of Sauron's dominion.
We're going to cause our mount to rear up just for dramatic flair. Aureen, Let us speak. Yes, my king.
With Sauron's demands rejected, we can no longer hold hope that the Gwytherein shall stay their hands in this battle.
Aurene, before the Nine arrived, I sent forth the spears of Linden with a garrison of elves and men. With Sauron's demands rejected, we can no longer hold hope that the Gwytherein shall stay their hands this battle. You know the spears as Phaelron, Megoril, and Durnaeth, my friend, and they have stood by my side through many great battles against Sauron and the most terrible of his servants. Ere they departed, they swore to cross the enemy's trenches and dismantle their siege equipment. It is true enough that catapult shot has not hit our position in some time, but the wider front has been brought to ruin by these very tools. You must now be my scout and my messenger. Learn what has become of their garrison, and if any of them yet live, deliver them a message of hope. The Alliance marches upon the Black Gate, and no evil man or orc shall stand in the way of our victory over Sauron. Go, my friend. I shall ready the Alliance to advance upon the Morannon. Be swift, Aurene. Be swift and safe, Aurene, even. So they're just going to chill here. So we have to be at the messenger and go tell basically our elite commando forces that we need them to come back. So we have to learn the fates of the Spears of Linden and their garrison. So we're going to head further south. Now I don't know if we get a proper map. We do now. I don't think there... Was that always in there? Or was there no map before? I don't know. So we have a couple of enemies here. Now we don't want to heal them to death, so let's move that out of the way. So what have we got? We have a Ballad, we have a Coda, and we've got our melee attack. So that's at the moment. It's okay. So as a minstrel, we can do 3 Ballads. And then a Coda, and the Coda will do a stupid amount of damage, so that will one-shot anything we can get our hands on. We fight our way through. That's interesting to know. I'm not actually getting any sounds playing from the instrument. Now that might be because I don't actually have an instrument, which could be problematic. Do we have something in our bags we could use? Probably not. But I've got so many boxes from creating a new character. So we'll carry on. So because we have no instrument, I think it's displaying the normal loot instrument when we do the attacks. But it can't actually play noises because we don't have one equipped. So we'll fight our way through. Swiftly now! This way! You are a man, sir, and not a Spear of Linden, so why you're behind enemy lines, I have no idea. But, whatever. So, you're a generic red shirt, you're probably going to die. I'll be honest. The Spears of Linden have held against Sauron's forces, but they fight a desperate battle. There's Durnaeth and Megoril. But the other one is not here.
Aid the wounded in the field, and let us hope that the Alliance shall arrive to drive off the enemy's forces.
Hail, Laurelin! I am Megoril of Lindon. How fare the battles to the north? You tell Megoril of your encounter with the Gwytherein, and deliver High King Gil-galad's message. If we shall truly strike at the Black Gate this day, the Alliance must soon come hither. We did as the High King commanded and brought the enemy's weapons to ruin, but when the Gwytherein appeared, they slew many of our number and divided our forces upon the Dagorlad. The faces by which I once knew the Gwytherein when they first took the rings have long faded, but this one I knew by his blade, the Cursed Rider he is called, and he goaded his steed onward over the backs of elf, man and orc alike. Regrettably, we were forced to retreat before we could aid many of them from the field of battle. We now struggle to hold the only path over the great trenches, and the enemy's forces have brought forth more trebuchets and ballistae upon the Dagorlad. Aid the wounded in the field, and let us hope that the Alliance shall arrive to drive off the enemy's forces.
One of the Gwytherein rode westward and scattered our numbers, but the other, he took Theleron.
Speak quickly, friend, for our foes surge from the east. You tell Durnaeth of your encounter with the Gwytherein, and deliver the High King's message. The Gwytherein, 2 of their number, passed through our garrison from the north. One rode westward and scattered our numbers, but the other, he took Phaelron. In the midst of battle, he caught Phaelron's sword arm in a cruel coil of rope and dragged him eastward by his fell steed. I could not follow through the mass of orcs. I failed him. I failed the High King, but still I must fight on. we talk to the dwarf? No, we don't. Okay, so we need to rescue wounded soldiers from the orcs west of the forward garrison, even though we've just been talking about going east. So up here, there's a wounded soldier. Murder, murder, murder. Thank you, my friend. Okay, so we just have to defeat their guards. So let's just group a load of these up. We can't actually do much in the way of AoE at the minute. Because this is not going to be an AoE attack, the Alcoda. Although I think if we go Melody, we'll make it AoE. Why won't you let me change? There we go. I think I'm moving. Oh, he resisted? How dare you, sir? There we go.
Prince Thranduil lives, but the rider has him.
So Thranduil is Legolas's father, but he's but a young'un these days.
Leave me, friend. He is trapped in the Vale.
Rescue Prince Thranduil to the west of the forward garrison. There we go.
There is no escape for you. See you now the fate of those who defy my master. The Dark Lord holds no power over me, Wraith. Be my fate sealed or not, my arrow shall fly true. Fool! Wills can be broken, Thranduil of Greenwood, and this blade shall see to that. What is this?
Giant spiddies!
The accursed spawn of Ungwitari. You think to threaten me? Sauron shall not forgive her this time.
So he's of course referring to the mighty Shelob. Stay back! I will leave you in peace for what you have done. Or maybe not. But here comes the other elf lords. Elrond and Glorfindel. And we have a very big spider here, actually. Let's go back to war speech. So, of course, being the intro bit to the game, obviously the monsters don't do that much damage. So we're not going to have to worry too much about being in danger. I mean, it's barely scratched us, really. You have rescued Thranduil from the Cursed Rider and repelled the spawn of Ungwitari.
The prince is fortunate to have survived his father's attack on the Black Gate, but the Gwatheran's words trouble me.
The rider spoke a name in Kenya ere he departed. Ungwitari, the Spider Queen. Ungoliant is gone from this realm, and shall trouble the world no longer. But her children remain, preying on anything they can devour, and spreading her darkness throughout Middle-earth. One among them must now hunger as she did. So, Shelob, the daughter of the great spider of old, without a care for the powers of the Dark Lord, and without any purpose other than to consume. These are unhappy tidings, my friend, even if it seemed fortuitous that the great spiders turned upon the rider. If we do not face this child of Ungoliant in the war, it is certain that the day will come when our hunger shall seek to sate itself beyond the shadows of Mordor. Which is going to be very true, because that's going to be leading us up to the future updates and expansion later this year. So, the High King gave me leave to pursue you at the urging of the Spears of Linden, but he has called for your return at once. The Alliance has come to the forward garrison at last. Reunite with them there, Aureen, and make ready for our assault upon the Black Gate. Glorfindel and I shall tend the prince's wounds. Go now, Aureen. Yes, sir. So, that's another thing as well. Like, back in the original days of the game, you were just some random dude that was helping out people, so everyone would always talk down to you. They'd whinge about why you disturbing them. You're some random person disturbing their day, rather than being treated with the respect for being a hero of the war, effectively. As the NPCs started to treat you as the game goes on, and by the time you get to Mordor, you know, particularly a lot of the main, hero NPCs
talk to you with respect because you've done a lot for them and the war effort. But obviously the elves here are treating you a bit more respectfully because being a high elf, you've been around for a while, so they kind of have a lot more respect for you than, you know, you're just some random person starting their heroic journey. With a high elf character, your high elf has been doing adventures before you started playing them, basically. So we need to talk to the High King at the forward garrison. So they've now advanced and brought their dudes up behind them. So there.
Our paths are now divided, dear friend. May the light of the Valar shine upon us.
I am glad to see you again, Aureen. Dernieth and Megaril have told me of Phaelron's capture, and I am troubled by such grim tidings. The Dark Lord would not soon have forgotten the wounds he suffered at our hands, and I fear what form his vengeance might take. Even now, as I wish to abandon my duty, I cannot turn my eyes from the Black Gate at such a crucial hour. Thus, I give to you this mission of dire importance. You must find Phaelron, and you must save him from the Gwythorain. As for the Alliance, one of Durin's folk has devised a cunning plan to draw the attention of the Dark Lord's forces, and allow for a swift strike against the Black Gate. In truth, I know not if his plan will bear fruit, but we must conquer the gate if Sauron is to be defeated. I would ask that you speak to Slegar the Crafty. He is an honourable enough dwarf, despite his chosen title. Once you have done as he asks, pursue the Gwythoran and rescue Phaelron. Our paths are now divided, my friend, but let us each hope each of them has led to victory. May the light of the Valar shine upon us. So, talk to Slegar the Crafty, with his obvious barrels of not very nice things.
At your service. Or perhaps you are at mine.
At your service, Orin, or perhaps you are at mine. Have you considered how the enemy's trenches never seem to stop burning? Well, I have. Slegar gestures to the pile of barrels beside him. These barrels are filled with a crude black powder that explodes when exposed to flame. Not only that, but it burns for hours afterwards. Aye, if it were more useful in stonework, I think Durin himself would have us steal some away. The Dark Lord's Black Riders, the damned ringwraiths as the men call them. They are wily enough, but these goblins are none too bright. They've left the barrels right next to their own ballista and catapults. Why don't you set some of them off? That ought to put an end to their siege and draw attention long enough for the Alliance to reach the Black Gate. Just make sure you don't stick around once you light them. So we need to head off. We've still got quest rings on these NPCs, but there's nothing to actually talk to them about. So we need to set barrels of flame and not stick around. Which means it shouldn't actually cause us any harm if we were next to it when it explodes. But nonetheless, we shouldn't really hang about. So now we're not going to be able to interact probably while the mobs are hitting us, because they'll probably step back our inductions or outright interrupt us. So we've got one there. Is anything over that way? There's one over there. Kind of, if you want to chase me, that's fine. I'll kill you all together. Doesn't bother me. So we've got one over there. There's one up the top. Oh, that Herald Strike was doing quite nicely there. Interact with that. Actually, we missed one over there as well in the corner. Couldn't see that because it's behind the structure there. And the goblins are still screaming, going... That goblin noise. It's so annoying. At the same time, I can't bring myself to filter it because it's just so funny as well. Ooh. I thought the one behind me started screaming again. There we go. That's 5. Okay, there's more than 6 we could set aflame. Because we can see there's at least 3 barrels there. But that will do. Shut up! You're dead, damn it! I've even set you aflame. Shouldn't be making those noises anymore. So we need to find and follow the Gwythoran's path. So as we can see, there are now hoof prints that are lighting up. And we can now follow those into the mountains. So, damn it. What are you attacking? There we go. Resisted? No.
So follow the hoof prints. It's going to lead us back across this makeshift bridge, which appears to have been some sort of statue back in the day. Obviously, it's a bit easy with the floating names on, but if you have the floating names off, you can still kind of see these particle effects shimmering as it leads you in the distance. And, Laurelin, can it be? Follow me. Lady Harfilin shall want to speak with you. So he's just generic elf grunt number 1.